and the gap has actually closed between the rich and the poor.
I came across this segment from Fox News on their show called The Five, and it's something special. So on one hand, we have somebody on Fox News actually defending Bernie Sanders. And on the other side of that, we have maybe the dumbest person that has ever been on cable news. So first up, here's Juan Williams, who identifies as a Democrat, and he is essentially selling us on Bernie Sanders and his 2020 message.
I think that the question is, does he register as a Democrat? It's an interesting one for me because I think for him it would be an identity shift.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always been the Vermont socialist. And I think it's added to part of his allure in that he's willing to go there and not respond to the taunts from the far right about socialism. And by the way...
Or just normal people.
No, I don't think normal
people know socialism. It's not a taunt. It's a reality that's ended in death.
No, I don't think you want to say that there are no normal people in Denmark, Norway, England, Germany, France. There are lots of people there. And I don't think you want to say it's not normal people in the United States who back Social Security, Medicare, VA, or
that's socialism.
All subsidies,
that's socialism.
All the government making decisions about how to help people get through this life.
It's in a decentralized system. It's
yes,
different.
That's right. So guess what? You want to label all these programs socialist, but maybe they're not. Maybe they're for people in our country, Greg, who are struggling with their finances.
I am for a safety net. I'm not for socialism.
Speaking of social security.
But there's a difference at a time when we have rampant income inequality in this country.
What does that mean?
I'll tell you what it means. I'll tell you exactly what it means. It means, Lawrence, when you think about it, it's something like 0.6% of Americans right now, the top 1% have more wealth than the bottom 60%.
But they're there for 1 year.
But you painted it as
they're there for 1.
All right. It's always funny seeing Fox News trying to discuss economics or income inequality because look, the people that responded to Juan Williams in this clip, they aren't the dumb ones I'm talking about, though to be fair, there is enough stupid on this panel to go around. We will get in the next clip to what I'm really talking about. But look, everything Juan Williams is saying here is completely, I mean, there's nothing controversial about anything he's saying. So Bernie Sanders is talking about mixed economies, like the Scandinavian model of having an actual proper safety net for people in America. That's this whole, I mean, I feel like this doesn't need explaining. I hope most people understand that Bernie Sanders is not trying to be an authoritarian dictator. That's not Bernie's plan. Bernie simply wants what other countries in the world have, like healthcare for all. Now, the one comment here from the dude who said, what does that mean? What does that mean? Income inequality. This guy's paid to be stupid. I mean, they're all paid to be stupid, but this was really, how do you not know what income inequality means? It's almost like he's trying to set him up, trying to set Juan Williams up to hit a home run here, because, I mean, everybody should understand that income inequality exists. All you have to do is look at data if you don't experience it yourself. So here's just one graph showing the growth of the average income between 1980 and 2015, showing that the growth for the top 0.01% has been 322%. Meanwhile, the bottom 9% have only seen growth of 0.03% in their income. So, and here's another one. So 3 men own as much as the bottom half of Americans. Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and Warren Buffett own more than the bottom half of Americans. But let me get to what I'm really talking about. So here is a clip of somebody that is, so this is Katie Pavlich, maybe the dumbest person I've ever seen on television. Watch.
First of all, Juan, you're wrong. There are more millionaires and billionaires now than there ever have been, but the middle class and the medium income has gone up, and the gap has actually closed between the rich and the poor. Back to Bernie Sanders.
Okay, go ahead. Let me just say, talk about covering over reality. The reality is that right now, I just did this last week in a column,
okay,
and it said 7 million people right now in our country, 3 months behind on car payments. 40% of the country can't afford an emergency $400 expenditure.
So there is no income inequality. No, actually the gap has closed between the rich and the poor because there's more millionaires. This is so dumb. Now, again, it's always hard to know if these people actually are as stupid as they appear or if they're simply paid to say this. I think it's a combination of the two. I think if you're going to be a host on here, you purposely don't do your research. You purposely don't look into the actual data. You only look into whatever confirms your existing bias. So I think that's the situation here, where this woman actually thinks, Katie Pavlich, she actually thinks that the gap between the rich and the poor have shrunk because there's more millionaires. Where do you think that wealth comes from? It's wealth redistribution from the bottom to the very top. So the world's richest 26 billionaires own as much money as 3.8 billion poorest people. Now, that doesn't mean that the wealth inequality, that the gap has shrunk because there's more billionaires now than there was 30 years ago. That it means all the wealth, it's concentrated at the top. 26 people. You realize 26 people isn't a lot of people? 26 people compared to 3.8 billion people. I mean, how more clear can I make this? Now, if you thought that was dumb, it gets even dumber. Watch.
What he's saying is a government that responds to human need is a good government.
Okay,
you know what
a government that allows people to get what they want and need on their own is a better government.
No, I'm all for it. But when you are in a situation like we're in America today, when you have heightened income inequality,
what has the New Deal done for American poverty in this country?
And by the way,
Nothing.
Lawrence is on to something. Don't ignore what he said about Bernie being the exact opposite of Donald Trump, the populist energy in the country.
I'm going to ask Greg.
All right. Let me start with the easy stuff. So Juan Williams compares Bernie to Trump in the sense that Trump is Bernie's the antithesis of Trump. How Bernie speaks to a real populist message, whereas Trump is a fake populist. So that comparison makes complete sense because both of them in many ways speak to the same anxieties that people have, but only one of them, Bernie, have actual solutions. But let me get to if you missed the clip, let me just play it briefly again.
What has the New Deal done for American poverty in this country?
And by the way, Lawrence is...
All right. Did you catch that? Katie Pavlich said, what has the New Deal done for American poverty in this country? Nothing. This is somebody that is paid to be on television. I mean, presumably she's paid to educate people, to deliver information, to tell people how the world works, but she doesn't know anything. I mean, this is proof that we are not living in a meritocracy. We live in a society where the media is purposely, they exist, at least the mass media, they exist to spread propaganda. Now, of course, yes, you're going to have the occasional person like Juan Williams who actually knows something. But, I mean, when you look at the panel here, everybody else is just spreading misinformation. That's their job. And here we have maybe the dumbest comment ever that I've ever seen. And I know that's saying a lot. I'm sure tomorrow there'll be a new dumb comment, but this was pretty damn stupid. So, I mean, the New Deal created Social Security. It created infrastructure projects that actually generated wealth and gave people good paying jobs. It created labor reforms, banking reforms like Glass-Steagall, which was repealed under Clinton. The New Deal essentially saved capitalism. I mean, that's what it is credited as doing. So here's more from Slate. In the 1930s, FDR saved American capitalism from its own self-inflicted wounds by erecting a new financial infrastructure, often over the vociferous opposition of the bankers and investors whose poor judgment had helped precipitate the Great Depression. During the New Deal, the government reacted to a disastrous systemic failure by creating the sort of backstops, insurance, and risk-spreading mechanisms the market had failed to develop on its own, such as deposit insurance, federal securities registration, and federally sponsored entities that would insure mortgages. Now, on top of that, all you really have to know is that FDR was elected 4 times. They had to amend the Constitution so that future presidents can only serve 2 terms because he was so damn popular. He saved the country. The New Deal saved the country. Yet here you have this dipshit on Fox News spreading propaganda about what has the New Deal done for poverty in this country? Look, I wonder how many people actually watch this to learn things anymore. I mean, who watches Fox News on a regular basis? I came to this channel on YouTube. I went to Fox News on YouTube because I was curious what they thought about Bernie Sanders, and I came across this dumbass clip. But who watches this for anything except entertainment? Now, I have to say, yes, this was entertaining. This entire segment is very entertaining. Entertaining, like watching a car crash is maybe entertaining as long as nobody gets hurt. But this, I just don't. I don't know who learns from Fox News. Who's like, okay, I want to learn what's happening in the world today. Let me check Fox News. I mean, I know older people do, but apart from that, who really watches Fox News? I don't know. I don't understand how anybody can view this. I mean, doesn't their audience know anything at all? I mean, anything at all about FDR or the New Deal or income inequality. I mean, there has to be a large portion of their audience that is poor. So they must be aware of inequality and wealth inequality. I mean, they must experience it themselves. So this was just, I don't know. Maybe it's because I've largely tried to ignore conservative media and Fox News, or at least, like at this point, if you're still with Trump, you're just an idiot. I mean, you're very stupid. I don't know how else to put it, because it's even separate it from his policies, which you shouldn't separate Trump from his policies, but do that for a second. Just look at Trump give a speech, and you can tell the dude is fucking crazy. He's losing his mind. So I don't quite understand what the purpose of conservative media that defends the Trump side of things anymore. Look, if you want to talk about, I mean, I don't even know. I was going to say deregulation and tax cuts, but that's all been proven to be complete bullshit. So again, unless you are an incredibly wealthy person, what does Fox News offer you? I just don't really understand. But this was at least entertaining, I guess. I don't know. But hats off to Juan Williams, at least, who spread the message of Bernie Sanders on Fox News.